This is your Weather Extreme video for Sunday, July the 30th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks so much for tuning in. Before we get to the future weather, let's take a look at what happened at the dew points at my house yesterday. The drier air was a little slower getting into the area, a little bit behind the front. So you can see that the dew points stayed up in the mid and upper 70s through about noontime or so, and then it began a nice gradual fall through about 9 p.m., dipping down into the mid-60s. So nice to have the drier air in place. Satellite image this morning shows a good deal of clear skies over all of the southeastern United States, with the exception of the Florida Peninsula and a little bit of South Georgia. The front has made it all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico, and it's expected to wash out down there. And the upper air pattern features a rather anomalous deep trough over the east coast of the United States, and of course that nice deep trough keeping us on the back side of that, and that's in the northwesterly and northerly flow, so allowing those nice drier air and some lower temperatures to filter into the region. Temperatures this morning generally in the middle 60s for the most part. I noticed Anniston 68. But generally mid and upper 60s, I guess you could say. But the real important news there is to look at those nice dew points in the lower half of the 60s. Our watch warning map is somewhat clear over much of the eastern two-thirds of the country. We do have some flash flood watches, the green areas there in southeastern Colorado and some of the adjacent surrounding states. We also have heat watches over there along the west coast and some high fire danger up in Montana. QPF, our quantitative precipitation forecast, suggests that we're not going to see that much rain, and that's true. We're going to stay dry through about midweek, at least through Wednesday. Looks like Thursday and Friday, with Friday maybe being the best chance for some rain, those 2 days being the better chances. Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma has got no marginal or slight risk areas or anything higher, just thunderstorms for day one. They do have a couple of marginal risks on day 2 and 3. The Atlantic Basin is a little bit more noisy, shall we say. There is an area of disturbed weather several hundred miles to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. And a little closer look at that. It's not very well organized, not forecast to organize very much, so no tropical systems expected to develop over the next several days. The eastern Pacific is still fairly active, although both Irwin and Hillary are expected to dissipate the early part of the upcoming week. All right, the 060 GFS model run, and there's our nice trough this afternoon, edging out into the Atlantic, and that keeping us under that nice dry flow aloft, and with surface high pressure centered over approximately eastern Iowa, northern Missouri, northern Illinois as well. That giving us a nice surface flow out of the north and northeast and keeping things dry. The trough moves off the Atlantic coast on Monday as it begins to wane just a little bit. And by Tuesday, we're seeing it waning as it fills a little bit, so the trough not as strong, but still pretty much in place. And even Wednesday, we still have the indications of the troughiness, although across the southeastern U.S., we've gone practically zonal. The GFS is suggesting the development of a front to our northwest, but once again, we're staying dry as moisture stays away from our area through Wednesday. Now, by Thursday, we've gone to a bit of an almost zonal flow across the southeastern U.S., but we do note a very strong short wave moving into the western Great Lakes area, and that will be helping to generate a nice surface low over Iowa and a cold front that will stretch down into Texas with time there. And that strong trough moves into inches closer to Lake Michigan on Friday, as it is a rather strong trough at that. And so we see the front beginning to develop as the surface low moves into the northern part of the lower Michigan there. But we see the front dragging down into the mid-south area. But notice also we have a lot of precipitation over the southeastern U.S., and that's because the precipitable water values have come up very dramatically. They begin to come up on Wednesday, but I think we stay dry Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, especially by Friday, they're up around 2 inches. So very significant increase in our precipitable water values. By Saturday, the trough is moving across the Mississippi River, so the front is forecast to actually move into the southeastern U.S. By midday on Saturday. And that's kind of unusual. This will be our second front. We had one, that passed through yesterday, and looks like we're going to have another one next Saturday. And we don't usually get them this time of year, but it's kind of nice because it's helping to keep temperatures down. By Sunday, the trough axis is moving by us, and so the front should be down along the Gulf Coast, and especially across north and central Alabama, we should be into drier air once again. Looking out into voodoo country, and the GFS a little more suggestive of the Bermuda Ridge off to our east, that influencing our weather around the 9th of August. So that would suggest that heat values will go up, but it's August, after all. And then by the time we reach about 348 hours out into the future, the GFS is once again pretty bullish on a couple of traveling weather systems across Canada, southern Canada, and those two helping to carve out once again some troughiness over the eastern part of the country, so that keeps us out of the big heat. That'll do it for the Weather Extreme video for this morning. I expect to have the next one first thing on Monday morning. Remember, James is on vacation, so we're on a one-a-day schedule. Also, remember, you can check the latest forecast with me this evening at 5 and 10 on ABC 3340. I'll be filling in for Megan. Have a great day. Enjoy the drier air, and Godspeed.